You're not lacking confidence, you're lacking discipline. Every single day you wake up and negotiate with yourself. Should I do this? Am I good enough? What if I fail? And that conversation, that endless internal debate is what's killing you. Confidence isn't something you find, it's something you build, brick by brick, through action. This audiobook will strip away every excuse you've been hiding behind and show you exactly how to become dangerously confident. Not cocky, not arrogant, dangerously confident. The kind of person who moves when others freeze, who executes while others plan, who dominates because they've eliminated doubt from their vocabulary. If you're ready to stop being your own worst enemy, keep listening, because by the end of this, you won't recognize the person you used to be.
Let's get one thing straight right now. You've been lied to about confidence. Your entire life, you've been told that confidence is something you feel, that it's this magical sensation that shows up one day and suddenly you're walking taller, talking louder, taking bigger risks. You've been waiting for it to arrive like a package on your doorstep. You check every morning. Do I feel confident today? No? Okay, maybe tomorrow. That's the lie. Confidence is not a feeling. It never was, it never will be. Confidence is a decision. Let me say that again because this is the foundation of everything. Confidence is a decision. It's a choice you make before you feel ready, before you know what you're doing, before anyone gives you permission. You decide to move, and the feeling catches up later. Think about it. Have you ever done something brave? Ever stepped into a room where you didn't belong? Ever spoken up when your voice was shaking? Ever started something when you had no idea if it would work? Of course you have. And here's what happened. You didn't feel confident before you did it. You felt terrified. You felt uncertain. You felt like an imposter. But you did it anyway. You decided to act despite the feeling. And somewhere in the middle of that action, somewhere between the fear and the finish line, confidence showed up. That's how it works. That's how it's always worked. You decide first. You feel later. Decide first. Feel later. Write that down. Tattoo it on your brain, because this is the pattern that separates confident people from everyone else. Confident people are not operating from a different emotional state than you. They're scared too. They doubt too. They question themselves too. The only difference is they've trained themselves to decide and move before those feelings can stop them. You have a choice right now. You can keep waiting to feel confident, or you can decide to act confident. One keeps you stuck forever. The other changes everything. Let me tell you about two people. Same age, same background, same opportunities. Person A wakes up every day and checks in with their feelings. Do I feel confident about that presentation? No. Do I feel ready to ask for that promotion? Not yet. Do I feel like I can start that business? I need more time. Person A is always preparing, always planning, always waiting for the right moment when they'll finally feel ready. Person B wakes up and makes decisions. I'm doing the presentation today. I'm asking for the promotion this week. I'm starting the business this month. Person B doesn't feel ready either, but they've learned something Person A hasn't. Feelings are irrelevant. Action is everything. 5 years later, Person A is still preparing, still planning, still waiting, still stuck in the same position, wondering why life hasn't changed. Person B has failed 3 times, succeeded twice, learned 10 new skills, built real competence, and now actually feels confident because they've earned it through action. You see the difference? Person A thought confidence was the starting point. Person B understood confidence was the result. Confidence is not the cause, it's the effect. You don't get confident and then take action. You take action and then become confident. Here's what nobody tells you. Every single person you admire, every single person you think is naturally confident, every single person who seems fearless, they all started exactly where you are, terrified, uncertain, doubting themselves. The only difference is they refused to let those feelings make their decisions. They decided to speak, even though their voice cracked. They decided to start, even though they didn't know how. They decided to try, even though they might fail. And every single time they made that decision, they built a little more confidence, not because they felt brave, but because they acted brave. That's the key. You don't wait for bravery. You act, and bravery follows. You're sitting there right now with something you want to do. I know you are. There's a conversation you need to have, a risk you need to take, a change you need to make, a dream you need to chase, and you're waiting to feel confident enough, waiting to feel ready enough, waiting to feel certain enough. Stop waiting. That moment you're waiting for, it's not coming. The universe is not going to tap you on the shoulder and say, "Okay, now you're ready." That feeling of absolute certainty you're looking for, it doesn't exist. Not before action, only after. You have a choice right now, in this exact moment. You can decide that today is the day you stop negotiating with yourself. Today is the day you stop letting your feelings run your life. Today is the day you make a decision and follow through, regardless of how you feel. Or you can keep waiting, keep hoping, keep preparing, and I promise you, a year from now, 5 years from now, you'll be in the exact same place, still waiting for confidence to magically appear. Let me ask you something. When have you ever regretted taking action? Really think about it. When have you ever looked back and thought, "I really wish I hadn't tried that. I really wish I had stayed scared and done nothing"? Never. You've never thought that. Your regrets are always about inaction, about the things you didn't do, about the words you didn't say, about the risks you didn't take. Your regrets are about the moments when you let fear make the decision instead of you. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to stop treating confidence like it's something you need before you can move. You're going to start treating it like it's something you build by moving. Every day, you're going to make one decision that scares you. Not something reckless, not something stupid, just one decision where you choose action over comfort. One decision where you decide to move before you feel ready. Maybe it's sending that email you've been drafting for 3 weeks. Maybe it's having that difficult conversation. Maybe it's applying for that job you don't think you're qualified for. Maybe it's starting that project you don't know how to finish. It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is you decide and you move. Decide first, feel later. And here's what's going to happen. The first time you do this, it's going to be terrifying. Your hands will shake, your voice will crack, you'll question everything, but you'll do it anyway. And when it's over, you'll realize you survived. You took action despite the fear, and the world didn't end. The second time will be slightly easier, not because you're less scared, but because you've proven to yourself you can move despite the fear. The 10th time, the 100th time, the 1,000th time. Each one builds on the last. Each decision you make before you feel ready adds another brick to your foundation. And eventually, you'll look back and realize you've become the person you were waiting to be. Not because you waited for confidence to arrive, but because you decided to build it yourself, one uncomfortable decision at a time. That's the secret. There is no secret, just decision after decision after decision, just choosing action over analysis, just refusing to let your feelings control your future. You are not broken. You are not deficient. You are not missing some magical confidence gene that other people have. You're just making the wrong choice. You're choosing to feel first and decide later, and that order is killing your potential. Reverse it. Decide first. Feel later. This is not theory. This is not motivational fluff. This is the actual mechanism of how confidence is built, and now you know it. So stop waiting for permission from your emotions. Stop checking in with your fear before you make a move. Stop letting uncertainty paralyze you. You have everything you need right now to make one confident decision. Not 10, not 100, just one. Make it, follow through, and watch what happens. Because confidence isn't coming to save you. You have to decide your way there. Decide first, feel later.
Chapter 2. Stop proving and start doing. You're exhausted, aren't you? Exhausted from performing, from explaining, from justifying every decision you make to people who don't even matter. You're tired of building your life like it's a courtroom and everyone around you is the jury. Here's the truth you need to hear. The need to prove yourself is destroying you. Every single day, you're making decisions based on what other people will think. Will they be impressed? Will they approve? Will they finally see that you're worthy? You're living your life on a stage, performing for an audience that isn't even paying attention. And while you're busy proving, the people who are actually winning, they're doing. Let me be clear about something. You don't need their validation. You need your results. You don't need their validation. You need your results. Say it out loud, because this is the shift that changes everything. The moment you stop caring about proving and start focusing on doing is the moment you actually become dangerous. Think about how much energy you waste every single day trying to prove yourself. You post about your wins on social media before they're even real wins. You explain your decisions to people who didn't ask. You justify your choices to family members who will never understand. You perform success before you've built it. Why? Because you're addicted to external validation. You're addicted to the feeling of someone else telling you you're good enough, and that addiction is keeping you weak. Here's what's happening. Every minute you spend seeking approval is a minute you're not spending building competence. Every hour you waste performing for others is an hour you're not investing in actual skill development. Every day you live for their validation is a day you're not living for your vision. You're trading real progress for fake applause. And the worst part? The people you're trying to impress don't even care. They're too busy trying to impress someone else. It's an endless cycle of performance and insecurity, and you're trapped in it. Let me tell you about two entrepreneurs. Both have an idea. Both want to build something. Both start at the same time. Entrepreneur A announces their business on every platform, posts daily updates, shares their plans, talks about their vision, shows mock-ups, explains their strategy. They're constantly seeking feedback, constantly asking for opinions, constantly looking for validation that they're on the right track. 6 months later, they're still talking, still planning, still performing. Nothing's launched, nothing's real, just a lot of noise and no results. Entrepreneur B tells nobody. They work in silence. They build in private. They test. They fail. They adjust. They learn. No announcements, no updates, no seeking approval, just execution. 6 months later, they have a functioning business, paying customers, real revenue, and actual data about what works. Same starting point, completely different outcomes. You know what the difference is? Entrepreneur A was addicted to validation. Entrepreneur B was committed to results. Entrepreneur A needed people to tell them they were doing something worthwhile. Entrepreneur B only needed the work to be worthwhile. That's the key. When you're focused on proving, you never actually do anything significant, because proving is about perception. Doing is about reality, and you can't build reality while you're managing perception. You have a choice right now. You can keep performing your life for an audience that doesn't matter, or you can start building your life in private where it actually matters. Here's what nobody tells you about validation. It's a drug,
And like any drug, you build tolerance. The first hit feels amazing. Someone likes your post. Someone compliments your work. Someone tells you you're impressive. You feel validated. You feel seen. You feel worthy. But then you need more. 1 like isn't enough. 10 isn't enough. 100 isn't enough. Because external validation is a bottomless pit. There is never enough approval from others to fill the void of not approving of yourself. So you keep performing, keep posting, keep explaining, keep seeking, and every day you get further away from the person you actually want to become. Meanwhile, the people who are actually confident, they're not posting, they're building. They're not explaining, they're executing. They're not seeking validation, they're creating results that don't need validation. You see the difference? Confident people don't need to announce what they're doing because they're too busy actually doing it. Insecure people announce everything because the announcement is the point, the validation is the goal, the doing is secondary. Let me ask you something. What would you do differently if nobody was watching, if there was no social media, no family members to impress, no friends to prove yourself to, no strangers to perform for? What would you do if the only metric that mattered was results? I'll tell you what you'd do. You'd take bigger risks. You'd experiment more. You'd fail faster. You'd learn quicker. You'd iterate constantly. You'd make decisions based on what actually works, not what looks good. You'd build something real instead of something impressive. That's what you'd do, and that's exactly what you should be doing right now. Stop posting your goals and start achieving them in silence. Stop explaining your vision and start building it in private. Stop seeking approval and start seeking progress. Here's your new rule. For the next 30 days, execute without announcing. No posts about what you're working on. No updates about your progress. No sharing your plans. Just work. Just action. Just results. I know what you're thinking, but what if people don't know what I'm doing? What if they think I'm not doing anything? Perfect. Let them think that. Let them underestimate you. Let them write you off. Because while they're busy judging what they can see, you're busy building what they can't. And when you finally reveal what you've built, not through an announcement, but through undeniable results, their opinion won't matter anymore. Because you'll have something real, something tangible, something that speaks for itself. You don't need their validation, you need your results. Here's what happens when you stop proving. You get faster, you make decisions quicker because you're not running them by a committee of people who don't matter. You take action sooner because you're not waiting for approval. You learn more because you're failing in private where failure is just data, not public humiliation. You become dangerous, not because people know what you're doing, but because you're actually doing it. Think about the people you admire most, the ones who are actually successful, not just Instagram successful. The ones with real businesses, real skills, real impact. How often do they post? How much do they share? How frequently are they seeking your approval? Rarely, because they don't need it. They're too busy building to worry about performing. That's where you need to be, not performing success, building it. Stop living your life like it's content for other people to consume. Stop making decisions based on what will get the most likes. Stop choosing paths based on what sounds impressive at dinner parties. Start choosing based on what actually moves you forward, based on what builds real skill, based on what creates actual results. You have a choice right now. You can keep living for their validation and stay exactly where you are, or start living for your results and become who you're capable of being. The people who are winning aren't the ones who talk about it the most, they're the ones who do it the most. They're not explaining their strategy, they're executing it. They're not seeking permission, they're taking territory. And here's the beautiful part. When you stop proving yourself, you actually become impressive. Not impressive in the fake, curated social media way. Impressive in the real, undeniable, results-driven way. Because proof isn't what you say. Proof is what you build. So stop talking.
Stop posting. Stop explaining. Stop performing. Start doing. Start building. Start executing. Start winning. The validation you're seeking will never come from outside. It only comes from one place, from looking at what you've actually accomplished and knowing you did it without needing anyone's permission. You don't need their validation. You need your results. Now go build something that speaks for itself.
You're dying. Not literally, not yet, but every single day you choose comfort, a part of you dies. Your potential dies, your dreams die, your future dies, and you don't even notice because it happens slowly, quietly, comfortably. Your comfort zone is killing you, and you're letting it happen because it feels safe. Here's what you need to understand right now. Safety and growth cannot coexist. You can have one or the other. You cannot have both. Every single day, you're choosing between the person you are and the person you could become. And most days, you're choosing comfort. That's the problem. Comfortable is killing you. Uncomfortable is building you. Comfortable is killing you. Uncomfortable is building you. Write that down. Memorize it. Tattoo it on your soul, because this is the fundamental law of human development. Everything you want, confidence, success, growth, mastery, lives outside your comfort zone. Everything you fear, failure, judgment, uncertainty, also lives outside your comfort zone. So you have a choice. Stay comfortable and stay the same, or get uncomfortable and become something more. Let me tell you what your comfort zone actually is. It's not a safe place. It's a trap. It's the set of behaviors, thoughts, and actions that require zero risk, zero growth, zero courage. It's where you already know the outcome. It's where nothing can hurt you because nothing is happening. You wake up at the same time. You do the same job. You have the same conversations. You think the same thoughts. You make the same excuses, day after day after day. And you call this living. But it's not living. It's existing. There's a difference. Living requires risk. Living requires uncertainty. Living requires stepping into spaces where you don't know what's going to happen. That's uncomfortable. That's scary. That's also where everything worthwhile exists. Think about every significant thing you've ever accomplished, every skill you've mastered, every relationship you've built, every challenge you've overcome. Did any of it happen inside your comfort zone? No. It all happened when you were uncomfortable, when you were scared, when you didn't know if you could do it, when you risked failure. That's where growth lives, in the discomfort, in the uncertainty, in the moments that make your heart race and your hands shake. You know this already. You've experienced it. But somewhere along the way, you forgot. You started prioritizing comfort over growth, safety over potential, certainty over possibility. And now you're stuck. Not stuck in a bad place necessarily, just stuck, plateaued, stagnant, the same person you were last year, the same person you'll be next year if nothing changes. Let me give you an analogy. Go to the gym, pick up a weight you can easily lift. Lift it 10 times. Feels fine, right? No struggle, no strain, no burn. Now do that every single day for a year. That same weight, that same easy effort. At the end of the year, are you stronger? No, you're exactly the same. Maybe weaker because you've trained your body that effort isn't required. That's what you're doing with your life. You're lifting comfortable weights. You're doing easy reps. You're avoiding the strain, and you wonder why you're not growing. Muscles don't grow from easy reps. They grow from progressive overload, from stress, from being pushed beyond what they can currently handle, from discomfort, from struggle. Your confidence works the same way. Your skills work the same way. Your entire life works the same way. You don't get stronger by doing what's easy. You get stronger by doing what's hard. Comfortable is killing you. Uncomfortable is building you. So let's talk about what comfort actually costs you.
Because you think comfort is free. You think playing it safe has no price, but it does. The price is everything you could have become. Comfort costs you opportunities because opportunities require risk, require action, require stepping into uncertainty, and you're too comfortable to move. Comfort costs you relationships because deep relationships require vulnerability, require honesty, require risking rejection, and you're too comfortable to be real. Comfort costs you growth because growth requires challenge, requires failure, requires doing things you don't know how to do, and you're too comfortable to struggle. Comfort costs you respect, self-respect, because deep down you know you're capable of more. You know you're playing small. You know you're hiding, and you can't respect someone who's hiding from their own potential. That's the real cost. Not money, not time, not even failure. The real cost is knowing you chose comfort over significance, knowing you could have been more, but decided to stay comfortable instead. You have a choice right now, same choice you've had every day, same choice you'll have tomorrow. Stay comfortable and stay small, or get uncomfortable and grow. Here's what I want you to do today, not tomorrow, not next week, today. I want you to do one thing that scares you, one thing that makes you uncomfortable, one thing that lives outside your comfort zone. It doesn't have to be massive. It doesn't have to be life-changing. It just has to be uncomfortable. Maybe it's speaking up in a meeting. Maybe it's starting that project you've been avoiding. Maybe it's having that difficult conversation. Maybe it's going to the gym when you don't feel like it. Maybe it's introducing yourself to an intimidating person. It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is you choose discomfort over comfort, just once, just today. And here's what's going to happen. It's going to be uncomfortable, obviously. Your heart will race. Your mind will give you 100 reasons why you shouldn't do it. Your body will resist. Your fear will scream. Do it anyway. And when it's over, something will shift. Not dramatically, not permanently, but you'll realize something important. You survived. You stepped outside your comfort zone and you didn't die. You didn't fail catastrophically. You didn't implode. You just grew, even if just a little. That's the key. Growth isn't one massive leap. It's 1,000 small steps into discomfort. It's choosing the harder path consistently. It's doing the thing that scares you today and tomorrow and the day after that. Every day you choose comfort, your comfort zone shrinks. You become more risk-averse, more fearful, more limited, more stuck. Every day you choose discomfort, your comfort zone expands. You become more capable, more confident, more resilient, more alive. Comfortable is killing you. Uncomfortable is building you. Let me tell you about two people. Same potential, same opportunities, same starting point. Person A protects their comfort zone like it's sacred. They avoid anything uncertain. They stick to what they know. They never risk failure because failure is uncomfortable. They stay in the same job even though they hate it because change is uncomfortable. They keep toxic relationships because being alone is uncomfortable. They never start their passion project because vulnerability is uncomfortable. 10 years later, person A is exactly where they started. Same fears, same limitations, same small life. They're comfortable, they're also miserable. Because humans aren't designed for permanent comfort. We're designed for growth. And person A chose comfort over growth every single day for 10 years. Person B treats discomfort like training. They actively seek it out. Every day they do something that scares them. They have difficult conversations. They take calculated risks. They start things they don't know how to finish. They fail publicly and learn from it. They push themselves constantly. 10 years later, person B is unrecognizable. They've built skills person A can't imagine. They've created a life person A dreams about. They've become confident because they've proven to themselves over and over that they can handle discomfort. Same timeline, completely different outcomes. The only difference? Person B understood something person A didn't. Comfort is not the goal. Growth is the goal, and growth only happens in discomfort. You are person A or person B right now. With every decision you make, you're either choosing comfort and slow death or discomfort and rapid growth. So which is it? Stop lying to yourself about tomorrow. Stop saying you'll take risks later when you're more prepared. Stop waiting for comfort to feel less appealing. It won't. Comfort is addictive. The more you choose it, the more you'll need it. You have to break the cycle today, right now, with one uncomfortable decision. Here's your assignment. For the next 30 days, do one uncomfortable thing every single day. Not the same thing, different things, different edges of your comfort zone. Day 1, speak up when you'd normally stay quiet. Day 2, start that project you've been avoiding. Day 3, go talk to someone intimidating. Day 4, try something you might fail at. Keep going. 30 days, 30 uncomfortable decisions, and watch what happens to your confidence. Watch what happens to your capabilities. Watch what happens to your life. Because here's the truth. You're either growing or dying. There is no maintenance mode. There is no plateau. You're either expanding or contracting, moving forward or sliding backward, getting stronger or getting weaker.
You're a professional excuse maker. Don't get offended, it's true. You've spent years perfecting the art of explaining why you can't, why you haven't, why it's not possible. Your excuses are creative, detailed, sometimes even convincing. You've built an entire architecture of reasons why your life isn't where you want it to be, and every single one of them is keeping you stuck. Here's what you need to understand right now. Excuses are not explanations. They're not reasons. They're not justifications. Excuses are the language of permanent mediocrity. They're the stories you tell yourself to feel better about not taking action. And you have a choice. You can have reasons or you can have results. You cannot have both. Reasons or results. You can't have both. Reasons or results. You can't have both. Say it until it hurts. Because this is the line that separates everyone who's winning from everyone who's stuck. Winners eliminate excuses. Losers collect them like trophies. Let's be honest about what an excuse actually is. It's a pre-packaged permission slip to quit. It's a story you tell yourself that makes inaction feel acceptable. It's a shield you hide behind so you don't have to face the truth that you're choosing not to do the work. I don't have time. That's not a reason. That's an excuse. You have the same 24 hours as everyone else. The difference is how you choose to use them. I don't have money. Excuse. Thousands of people have started with nothing and built everything. Money is a tool, not a requirement. I don't have connections. Excuse. Every person you admire started as a stranger to everyone they know now. I'm too old. Excuse. Colonel Sanders started KFC at 65. You're not too old, you're too scared. I'm too young. Excuse. Mark Zuckerberg started Facebook at 19. Age is irrelevant. Action is everything. I don't know how. Excuse. Nobody knows how before they start. You learn by doing, not by waiting until you know everything. You see what's happening? For every obstacle, you have an excuse. And for every excuse, someone else has a result. Same obstacle, different response, different outcome. The obstacle isn't the problem. Your response to the obstacle is the problem. Let me tell you about two people who face the exact same setback. Both lose their job on the same day, same industry, same economy, same circumstances. Person A immediately starts listing reasons why this is catastrophic. The economy is terrible. No one's hiring. I'm too specialized. I don't have the right degree. The market is saturated. I'm competing with younger candidates. This isn't a good time. Person A spends 3 months researching the job market, updating their resume, analyzing their options, and collecting more reasons why it's hard. 6 months later, they're still unemployed, still listing obstacles, still waiting for conditions to improve. Person B takes 24 hours to process the shock. Then they make a list of every skill they have, every person they know, and every industry they could enter. They start reaching out.
They start applying. They start networking. They start offering value for free just to get their foot in the door. Person B gets rejected 17 times. Each rejection gives them data. Each no gets them closer to a yes. Within 6 weeks, they have 2 job offers and a freelance contract. Not because conditions were better, because their response was better. Same setback, completely different outcomes. Person A had reasons. Person B had results. That's the key. Your excuses are more creative than your solutions, and that's the problem. You're spending more energy justifying why you can't than you are figuring out how you can. Think about how much mental energy you waste on excuses, how many hours you've spent explaining to yourself and others why things aren't working, how many conversations you've had where you list all the reasons you're stuck. Imagine if you took that same energy and put it towards solutions, towards action, towards trying something instead of explaining why you can't. You'd be unstoppable, but you're not because you're addicted to your excuses. They make you feel better. They take the pressure off. They let you stay comfortable while feeling justified about it. Here's the hard truth. You love your excuses more than you want your goals. Read that again. You love your excuses more than you want your goals. If you actually wanted the goal, you'd eliminate everything standing between you and it. But you don't. You keep your excuses close. You polish them. You refine them. You share them with anyone who will listen. Because excuses feel safe. They protect you from failure. They protect you from judgment. They protect you from having to try and potentially come up short. But here's what they don't protect you from: regret. Years from now, when you look back at your life, you won't regret trying and failing. You'll regret not trying at all. You'll regret letting excuses run your life. You have a choice right now. Keep your excuses and keep your current life, or eliminate your excuses and create a different life. Let me be clear about something. I'm not saying obstacles don't exist. They do. I'm not saying challenges aren't real. They are. I'm saying your response to obstacles determines everything. Obstacles are neutral. They're just facts. It's your interpretation of those facts that creates either excuses or opportunities. No money? That's a fact. I can't start because I have no money is an excuse. I need to start something that requires no capital is a solution. No time? That's a fact. I'm too busy is an excuse. I need to eliminate something less important to make time is a solution. No experience? That's a fact. I can't do this because I don't know how is an excuse. I learn by doing is a solution. You see the difference? Same facts, different responses. One keeps you stuck, one moves you forward. Reasons or results? You can't have both. Here's what I want you to do right now. Get a piece of paper, write down your top 3 excuses, the 3 stories you tell yourself most often about why you're not where you want to be. Write them down. Be honest. Nobody's watching. Got them? Good. Now I want you to burn that paper, literally. Light it on fire and watch it turn to ash. Because those excuses, they're not protecting you. They're imprisoning you. And until you eliminate them completely, you will never move forward. Let me tell you what happens when you eliminate excuses. Everything changes, not because circumstances change, because you change. You stop looking for reasons why you can't and start finding ways that you can. You stop blaming external conditions and start taking ownership of your results. You stop waiting for perfect conditions and start creating progress in imperfect conditions. You become dangerous, not because you're more talented, not because you're more connected, because you're more committed, because you've eliminated the exit routes, because you've burned the bridges back to comfortable excuses. That's when growth happens. That's when results happen. That's when you actually become the person you keep saying you want to be. Think about the most successful people you know, the ones who have actually built something, the ones who have actually achieved their goals. How often do they make excuses? Never. Not because their path was easier, because they refused to let obstacles become excuses. They faced the same challenges you're facing, the same doubts, the same limitations. The difference is they took ownership. They eliminated excuses. They found solutions instead of reasons. You can do the same thing, right now, today. Stop saying, I can't because. Start saying, I will by. Stop saying, it's not possible because. Start saying, I'll make it possible by. Stop saying I would, but start saying I'm going to and. Change your language, change your thinking, change your results. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Your excuses are exposing you. Every time you list a reason why you can't, you're telling the world exactly who you are. Someone who quits before they start. Someone who lets obstacles dictate outcomes. Someone who chooses comfort over courage. Is that who you want to be? You have a choice. Same choice you've always had. Keep collecting excuses and stay exactly where you are, or eliminate excuses and become who you're capable of being. But you can't do both. You can't have reasons and results. You have to choose. So what's it going to be? For the next 30 days, you're going on an excuse elimination diet. Every time you catch yourself making an excuse, you stop mid-sentence, you acknowledge it's an excuse, then you replace it with a solution-focused statement. I don't have time becomes I'm choosing to prioritize other things, but I could make time by eliminating X. I don't know how becomes I don't know how yet, but I can learn by doing Y. It's too hard becomes it's challenging, but I can handle it by breaking it into Z steps. 30 days, no excuses, only ownership, only solutions, only action. And watch what happens. Watch how fast you move when excuses aren't slowing you down. Watch how much you accomplish when you're not wasting energy on justification. You'll surprise yourself. Not because you suddenly gained new abilities, but because you finally stopped using excuses to hide from the abilities you already have. Reasons or results, you can't have both. Eliminate your excuses or stay stuck forever. The choice has always been yours.
You're waiting for motivation to save you. Every Sunday night, you tell yourself this week will be different. You watch motivational videos. You listen to inspiring podcasts. You pump yourself up with energy and enthusiasm. You feel ready. You feel motivated. You feel like you can conquer the world. Monday morning comes. That feeling is gone, and you're back to scrolling, procrastinating, waiting for motivation to return. Here's the truth you need to hear. Motivation is a liar. It shows up when you don't need it and disappears when you do. It's unreliable, temporary, and completely useless for building lasting confidence. You know what builds confidence? Repetition. Showing up when you don't want to. Doing the work when you don't feel like it. Taking action when motivation is nowhere to be found. Show up when you don't want to. That's where confidence lives. Let me be brutally honest with you. If you only take action when you're motivated, you will accomplish nothing significant in your life. Nothing. Because motivation is a fleeting emotional state. It comes and goes like the weather. You cannot build a life on something that unreliable. Think about it. How many times have you been motivated to start something? 1,000 times? How many times have you actually followed through? Probably 5. That's not a motivation problem. That's a repetition problem. You're waiting for the feeling to drive the action, but it doesn't work that way. Action drives the feeling. Repetition builds the confidence. Discipline creates the results. Let me tell you about 2 people who both want to get in shape. Both join the gym on January 1st. Both are motivated. Both are excited. Both have goals. Person A only goes to the gym when they feel motivated, when they're energized, when they're inspired, when the weather's good, when they got enough sleep, when they don't have a lot going on, when conditions are perfect. Some weeks, person A goes 4 times, other weeks, 0. By March, they're going once every 2 weeks. By June, they've quit. They blame lack of motivation. I just couldn't stay motivated, they say. Person B goes to the gym whether they feel like it or not. Tired? They go. Busy? They go. Unmotivated? They go. Sick of it? They still go. They've made it non-negotiable. They don't ask themselves if they feel like it. They just show up and do the work. Person B has terrible workouts sometimes, days where they feel weak, days where they want to quit, days where every rep feels impossible, but they finish the workout anyway. Not because they're motivated, because they're disciplined. 6 months later, person A is exactly where they started. Same body, same excuses, same cycle of motivation and failure. Person B is transformed, not because they were more motivated,
because they were more consistent. They built confidence through repetition, through showing up on the days when motivation was dead, through showing up when motivation was dead. That's the key. Confidence isn't built on your best days, it's built on your worst days, the days you show up anyway, the days you push through anyway, the days you choose discipline over motivation. You have a choice right now. Keep chasing motivation like it's going to save you, or start building discipline like it's going to define you. Here's what nobody tells you about motivation. It's designed to get you started, not keep you going. Motivation is the spark. Discipline is the fuel. You need the spark to light the fire, but you need fuel to keep it burning. You've been trying to run your entire life on sparks. That's why you keep burning out. Every Monday you light a new fire. Every Wednesday it dies. Every Sunday you're looking for another spark. You're addicted to the feeling of starting. You're terrified of the grind of continuing. But confidence isn't built in starting. It's built in continuing, in repetition, in showing up on day 37 when the novelty is gone and the work is boring and you'd rather do anything else. Show up when you don't want to. That's where confidence lives. Let me ask you something. When do you think professional athletes feel motivated to train? Every day? Wrong. Most days they don't want to do it. Most days they're tired, sore, or mentally exhausted, but they train anyway. Not because they feel like it, because it's what professionals do. That's the difference between amateurs and professionals. Amateurs wait for motivation. Professionals follow their system regardless of how they feel. You want to be confident? Stop acting like an amateur. Stop waiting for the feeling to drive the action. Start building systems that create action regardless of feeling. Here's your new rule. You don't need to feel motivated to take action. You just need to take action. The feeling follows the action, not the other way around. Think about the last time you didn't want to do something but did it anyway. Maybe you didn't want to go to work but went anyway. Didn't want to have that conversation but had it anyway. Didn't want to finish that project but finished it anyway. What happened after? You felt better. You felt accomplished. You felt proud. Not because you were motivated before you did it, because you did it despite not being motivated. That's the secret. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. You're waiting for motivation to push you into action, but action is what creates the motivation. It's backwards. You've had it backwards your entire life. Show up when you don't want to. That's where confidence lives. So, let's talk about repetition, because this is where real confidence is built. Not in the inspiring moments, not in the motivated bursts, in the daily, boring, repetitive showing up. You want to be confident at public speaking? You don't need to feel motivated to speak. You need to speak 100 times, even when you're terrified, even when you stumble, even when you're bad at it. You want to be confident in business? You don't need to feel motivated to sell. You need to make 1,000 sales calls, even when it's rejected, even when it's uncomfortable, even when you'd rather do anything else. You want to be confident in relationships? You don't need to feel motivated to be vulnerable. You need to practice vulnerability repeatedly, even when it's scary, even when you might get hurt, even when it feels safer to hide. That's how confidence is built, through repetition, through doing the thing over and over and over again until it becomes part of who you are, until you don't need motivation because discipline has become your default. Let me tell you what happens when you build confidence through repetition instead of motivation. You become unstoppable, not because you always feel motivated, because you've trained yourself to execute regardless of how you feel. Motivation becomes irrelevant. You don't wait for it. You don't need it. You just execute. Day after day, rep after rep, action after action. And somewhere in that repetition, something shifts. The thing that used to terrify you becomes familiar. The thing that used to require massive effort becomes automatic. The thing that used to drain you becomes energizing. Not because you're more motivated, because you've built competence through repetition. And competence creates confidence, real confidence, lasting confidence, unshakable confidence. You have a choice right now. Keep chasing the high of motivation and accomplishing nothing, or embrace the grind of repetition and become everything.
Here's your assignment. Pick one thing, just one action that moves you towards your goals, and commit to doing it every single day for 90 days. Not when you feel like it, every single day. No exceptions, no negotiations, no waiting for motivation. The first week will be hard. You'll want to quit. You'll look for reasons to skip a day. You'll negotiate with yourself. Don't. Just show up and do the work. The second week will be harder. The novelty is gone. The motivation is dead. You're just grinding. This is where most people quit. Don't be most people. Show up anyway. Week 3, week 4, week 5. Keep showing up. Don't evaluate how you feel. Don't check if you're motivated. Just execute. Trust the process. Trust the repetition. Trust the discipline. By week 8, something will change. You won't need to convince yourself anymore. You won't need to fight yourself anymore. You'll just do it. Because repetition has built discipline, and discipline has built confidence. By day 90, you'll be a different person, not because you were motivated for 90 days, because you showed up for 90 days. You built confidence through repetition, through consistency, through discipline. And here's the beautiful part. That confidence transfers. The discipline you built doing this one thing, it spreads. You become someone who shows up, someone who follows through, someone who doesn't need motivation to take action. That's power, real power, not the fake power of motivation that disappears when things get hard, the real power of discipline that carries you through when everything else fails. Show up when you don't want to. That's where confidence lives. So stop watching motivational videos hoping they'll change you. Stop reading inspiring quotes hoping they'll move you. Stop waiting for the feeling to arrive before you take action. Start showing up. Start doing the work. Start building confidence through repetition, through discipline, through daily execution regardless of how you feel. You'll never feel like it, and that's exactly when you must do it. That's the difference between confident people and everyone else. Confident people have trained themselves to execute without needing emotional permission. They've built discipline through repetition. They've eliminated the need for motivation because they've made action automatic. You can do the same thing right now, today. Pick your one thing. Commit to 90 days. No excuses, no negotiations. Just show up and do the work. Motivation is temporary. Discipline is permanent. Show up when you don't want to. That's where confidence lives.
You're thinking yourself to death. Right now, while you're listening to this, there's something you should be doing, some action you should be taking, some decision you should be making. But instead, you're thinking about it, analyzing it, weighing the options, considering the possibilities, planning the approach. You call this being strategic. I call it procrastination with a fancy name. Here's the truth. Overthinking is not intelligence. It's not thoroughness. It's not being careful. Overthinking is paralysis disguised as productivity. It's fear disguised as preparation. It's inaction disguised as analysis. And it's destroying your potential. Think less, do more, win faster. Think less, do more, win faster. Write that on your mirror. Tattoo it on your brain, because this is the formula that separates people who accomplish things from people who think about accomplishing things. Let me ask you something. How many hours have you spent thinking about your goals, planning your strategy, researching your options, analyzing the best approach? Hundreds? Thousands? Now let me ask you another question. How many hours have you spent actually executing, actually doing the work, actually taking action toward those goals? Significantly less, right? That's the problem. You're spending 90% of your time thinking and 10% of your time doing. And you wonder why you're not getting results. You wonder why confident people are passing you by. You wonder why nothing's changing. It's because thinking is not working and you're confusing the two. Let me tell you about two entrepreneurs. Both have the same business idea. Both think it could work. Both start at the same time. Entrepreneur A is a thinker. They spend 6 months researching the market. They read 50 books on business. They take 3 online courses. They create detailed business plans. They build financial projections. They design the perfect logo. They workshop their brand message. They analyze their competition. They refine their positioning. They think through every possible scenario. 6 months later, they're still thinking, still planning, still preparing. They haven't made a single sale because they haven't launched. They're waiting until everything is perfect, until they've thought through every possible problem. Entrepreneur B is a doer. They spend 1 week on basic research, they create a minimum viable product, they launch it immediately. It's rough, it's imperfect, it has problems, but it's real. And they're learning from real customers, not hypothetical scenarios. They get feedback, they adjust, they improve, they fail, they adapt, they iterate. They're thinking too, but they're thinking while doing, not instead of doing. 6 months later, Entrepreneur A is still planning the perfect launch. Entrepreneur B has served 100 customers, failed at 3 different approaches, discovered what actually works, and is generating real revenue. Same idea, same timeline, completely different outcomes. The difference? One thought their way to nowhere, one worked their way to results. That's the key. Your best thinking happens during doing, not before it. You cannot think your way to clarity. You have to act your way there. You're waiting for perfect information before you move, but perfect information doesn't exist. You're waiting for certainty before you decide, but certainty comes from experience, not analysis. You're waiting to have everything figured out before you start, but you figure it out by starting, not by waiting. Think less, do more, win faster. Here's what overthinking actually is. It's your fear trying to keep you safe. Your brain is designed to protect you from risk, from uncertainty, from failure. So it creates this illusion that if you just think about it a little more, analyze it a little longer, plan it a little better, you'll eliminate the risk. But you won't, because risk is inherent in anything worth doing. You can't think your way to risk-free action. You can only act your way through risk to results. Every moment you spend overthinking is a moment your competition is out executing you. They're not smarter than you, they're not better prepared than you, they're just moving faster than you. While you're thinking, they're doing. While you're planning, they're learning. While you're analyzing, they're winning. You have a choice right now. You know that thing you've been thinking about for weeks, months, years? That decision you've been avoiding, that action you've been postponing, that risk you've been analyzing. Stop thinking about it. Do it. Today, right now, before you finish this chapter. I'm serious. Pause this if you need to. Go make that decision, take that action, start that thing. Stop overthinking and start doing. Because here's what's going to happen. You're going to take action. It's going to be imperfect. You're going to learn something you couldn't have learned by thinking. You're going to adjust based on real feedback, not imaginary scenarios, and you're going to move forward. Or you're going to keep thinking about it, and tomorrow you'll still be thinking about it, and next month you'll still be thinking about it, and next year you'll regret not acting today. Think less, do more, win faster. Let me give you the overthinking antidote. It's called bias toward action. From now on, when you're facing a decision, your default is action, not analysis. Your default is doing, not thinking. Your default is moving, not waiting. Uncertain about something? Test it. Don't think about testing it, actually test it. Wondering if something will work? Try it. Don't wonder, try. Debating between 2 options? Pick one and execute. Don't debate for weeks. Pick one today. This doesn't mean being reckless. This means being decisive. This means valuing execution over perfection. This means understanding that action creates information that thinking never could. Here's your assignment. For the next 7 days, you're going to implement the 5-minute rule. Any decision you need to make, you get 5 minutes to think about it. Set a timer. When the timer goes off, decide, then execute immediately. No extensions, no I need to think about it more. 5 minutes, decide, execute. Day 1 will feel rushed. You'll want more time. Don't take it. Decide anyway. Day 2 will feel uncomfortable. You'll doubt your decisions. Execute anyway. Day 3, day 4, day 5, keep going. 5 minutes, decide, execute. By day 7, you'll realize something. Most of your decisions don't need hours of deliberation. They need 5 minutes of thinking and immediate execution. You'll realize you've made more progress in 7 days than you made in the previous 7 months of overthinking. And here's what else you'll realize. You're more capable than you thought, more resilient than you believed, more adaptable than you imagined. Not because thinking revealed this to you, because doing proved it to you. That's the difference. Thinking tells you stories. Doing gives you proof. Stop living in your head. Start living in reality. Reality is where confidence is built. Reality is where results are created. Reality is where you become the person you keep thinking about becoming. Overthinking is comfortable. It feels productive. It feels safe. But it's killing you slowly. Every day you spend thinking instead of doing is a day you're not growing, not learning, not progressing. You already know what you need to do. You've known for a while. You don't need more information. You don't need more time. You don't need more preparation. You need to stop overthinking and start outworking. Think less, do more, win faster. Decide in 5 minutes, execute immediately, learn by doing. That's how confidence is built. That's how results are created. That's how you win.
Let's get brutally honest. Your confidence is not just a personal trait, it's an environmental outcome. You're not weak because you lack belief. You're weak because you tolerate low standards around you. That's the truth most people avoid. You don't rise to your potential, you sink to your environment. And if the people around you normalize excuses, celebrate mediocrity, and reward comfort, your confidence will never survive, no matter how many affirmations you repeat. That's the key. Confidence grows where standards are high. Confidence dies where sympathy is cheap. Sympathy feels good. Standards make you great. Sympathy sounds like this. It's okay, you tried. You've been through a lot. Don't be too hard on yourself. Maybe it just wasn't your time. It feels warm. It feels supportive. It feels safe. And it keeps you exactly where you are. Standards sound different. Why didn't you execute? You said you would. Why didn't you? This can be better. Do it again. No excuses. Fix it. It feels uncomfortable. It feels demanding. It feels confrontational. And it forces growth. You have a choice. Do you want people who make you feel better about staying the same, or people who make it impossible for you to stay the same? That's the dividing line. Most people choose sympathy because it doesn't threaten their identity, but dangerously confident people choose standards because they threaten their limits. That's the key. Your circle is a mirror, not a decoration. Look, really look. Your habits, your income, your discipline, your excuses, your self-talk, they didn't come out of nowhere. They were reinforced, repeated, normalized. If everyone around you sleeps late, you'll feel strange waking up early. If everyone complains, discipline will feel extreme. If everyone quits when it's hard, persistence will feel abnormal. And here's the dangerous part. You don't notice the decline because it happens slowly. Standards drop quietly. Expectations soften gradually. Excuses become acceptable one by one, until one day you wake up and realize you've been living far below what you're capable of, and it feels normal. That's how environments kill confidence. Not with drama, with comfort. You become who you spend time with. Not who you admire, not who you follow online, who you spend time with. Choose dangerously. Low-standard people don't hate you. They need you small. This is where it gets uncomfortable. Most people holding you back are not evil. They're familiar. They don't sabotage you openly. They subtly discourage you. They laugh when you aim higher. They question your consistency. They remind you of your past, not because they want you to fail, but because your growth exposes their stagnation. When you raise your standards, it forces a comparison they didn't ask for. Your discipline becomes a mirror. Your ambition becomes an accusation. So they try to pull you back down to the level where everyone feels equal again. That's not friendship. That's fear disguised as loyalty. You don't need their permission. You don't need their understanding. You don't need their approval. You need distance. That's the key. Confidence cannot survive constant explanation. Here's a rule. The more you explain yourself, the less confident you become. Why? Because explanation is negotiation, and negotiation signals doubt. When you're surrounded by people who question your decisions, you start defending instead of executing. You justify your goals, you rationalize your habits, you soften your standards to avoid conflict, and slowly your certainty erodes. High-standard environments don't ask you to explain, they expect to deliver. Nobody cares how you feel, they care if you showed up, if you executed, if you improved. That pressure doesn't crush confidence, it forges it. Real confidence is built when your environment assumes competence and demands consistency, not sympathy, standards. The cost of staying connected to everyone. Let's talk about the lie people believe. I can succeed without changing my environment. No, you can't. You can outgrow places. You can outgrow conversations. You can outgrow people. And pretending otherwise is self-sabotage. Every relationship has a cost. Some cost you money, some cost you time, some cost you energy. But the most dangerous ones cost you standards. They normalize delay, they validate inconsistency, they reward excuses. And every time you stay silent to keep the peace, you reinforce a lower version of yourself. That's the trade. Comfort now, regret later. Or discomfort now, dominance later. You have a choice. High-standard people will make you uncomfortable. Good. Here's how you know you're in the right environment. You feel challenged, you feel exposed, you feel slightly behind. Your excuses don't land, your complaints aren't entertained, your results matter more than your intentions. At first, it feels harsh, but then something shifts. You rise. You speak with more certainty. You move with more urgency. You stop negotiating with yourself. Because you know mediocrity won't be tolerated. And here's the secret. High-standard people don't motivate you with words. They motivate you with presence. Their discipline raises the floor. Their consistency raises expectations. Their silence raises pressure. That pressure builds confidence faster than any affirmation ever will. That's the key. You don't need more people. You need better standards. Stop trying to be liked by everyone. Confidence is not built through popularity. It's built through alignment. You need fewer voices, stronger examples, clearer expectations. One disciplined person in your life is more valuable than 10 sympathetic ones. One accountability partner who doesn't let you slide. One mentor who demands execution. One peer who refuses to accept excuses. That's enough to change your trajectory. You don't need a crowd. You need standards. Audit your top 5 without emotion. This part requires honesty. List the 5 people you interact with most. Not who you love, not who you've known the longest. Who influences your daily behavior? Now ask, do they push you to be disciplined or comfortable? Do they normalize execution or normalize excuses? Do they raise standards or lower expectations? No judgment, just data. Because confidence is built on truth. If most of your circle rewards comfort, you will struggle to sustain confidence no matter how disciplined you try to be.
That's not weakness, that's physics. Change the environment, or the environment will change you. Distance is not disrespect, it's discipline. You don't need to announce changes. You don't need dramatic exits. You don't need explanations. You just need alignment. Less availability, fewer conversations, more time with people who demand more from you. Silence is powerful. Let your results explain everything. Real confidence grows quietly when you stop feeding environments that keep you small. That's the key. Confidence is not built alone. It's built in environments that demand excellence. Sympathy keeps you comfortable. Standards make you dangerous. Audit your circle. Reduce exposure to low standards. Increase proximity to discipline. Because once your environment stops tolerating excuses, your confidence has no choice but to rise. And in the next chapter, we'll dismantle one of the biggest lies holding people back, the belief that failure defines you, when in reality, it's the raw material of unstoppable confidence. Stay with me.
Chapter 8. Failure is data, not destiny. Let's dismantle a lie right now. Failure is not the opposite of confidence. Avoiding failure is. That's the truth most people never accept. You are not stuck because you failed. You're stuck because you decided failure meant something about you. That's the mistake. Dangerously confident people fail more than anyone else in the room. Not because they're reckless, but because they move faster, decide quicker, and act before fear finishes its sentence. They don't ask, "What if I fail?" They ask, "What will this teach me?" That's the key. Failure only destroys people who take it personally. Here's where most people go wrong. They don't experience failure as an event. They experience it as an identity. I failed becomes I'm a failure. One outcome becomes a character judgment. One mistake becomes a life sentence, and confidence dies instantly. Because confidence cannot exist where identity is fragile. Dangerously confident people separate who they are from what happened. They don't say, "This proves I'm not good enough." They say, "This proves I found a way that didn't work." Big difference. One leads to paralysis. The other leads to progress. You have a choice. Interpret failure as a verdict or interpret it as data. That's the fork in the road. The most confident people have failed the most. You just didn't see it. You see the win, you never see the repetitions. You see the confident speaker on stage, you didn't see the shaky first attempts. You see the successful business, you didn't see the rejected proposals. You see the disciplined body, you didn't see the missed workouts, the resets, the learning curve. Failure is hidden, success is loud. And social media has trained you to believe confidence appears fully formed. It doesn't. It's built on trial, error, adjustment, execution, over and over again. That's the key. Failure is feedback, but only if you stay in the game. Here's the rule. Failure only becomes useful if you don't quit. The moment you stop, failure turns into regret. As long as you continue, failure stays information. Data answers questions. What didn't work? Where was I weak? What needs improvement? What should I do differently next time? Confident people ask better questions after failure. Insecure people ask emotional ones. Why does this always happen to me? Why am I like this? Why can't I succeed? Those questions go nowhere. Better questions build confidence. What's the lesson? What's the adjustment? What's the next move? You don't need their permission to fail forward. You need commitment. The real failure is stopping too soon. Most people don't fail permanently. They quit temporarily and never restart.
They stop one step before momentum, one adjustment before clarity, one lesson before mastery, and then they label themselves realistic. That's not realism, that's fear with better branding. Confidence grows when you prove to yourself that failure doesn't stop you, that no matter what happens, you keep moving. That's power. Embarrassment is the entry fee to confidence. Let's say it clearly. If you're not embarrassed occasionally, you're not trying hard enough. Embarrassment means exposure. Exposure means action. Action means growth. The confident version of you is built on moments you'd rather forget. Awkward starts, missed shots, public mistakes. But every one of those moments stretched your tolerance. Each time you survived, your nervous system learned something important. I can handle this. That's how confidence is installed. Not through comfort, through survival. That's the key. Fail fast, fail forward, fail with intent. There's a wrong way to fail and a right way. Wrong way, fail once, overthink, retreat, hide. Right way, fail, analyze, adjust, move again. Confident people don't fail randomly. They fail deliberately. They take action knowing it might not work. They expect resistance. They welcome friction, because friction reveals weakness, and weakness points the way forward. You don't need to be fearless. You need to be relentless. Stop protecting your ego. It's holding you back. Ego hates failure. Ego wants to look good, be right, appear competent. Confidence doesn't care about looking good. It cares about becoming capable. Every time you avoid action to protect your image, you weaken your confidence. Every time you choose learning over looking good, confidence grows. You have a choice. Protect your ego or build your ability. That's the trade. Reframe your biggest failure right now. Think about the failure you still carry, the one you replay, the one that stings. Now strip it of emotion. What did it teach you? About preparation, about discipline, about consistency, about boundaries, about effort. There is always a lesson. If you refuse to extract it, you pay for it twice, once in pain, once in stagnation. Confident people never waste failure. They turn it into fuel. Failure trains your nervous system for pressure. Here's something few people understand. Confidence is not mental, it's physiological. It lives in your nervous system. Each time you fail and survive, your system recalibrates. Pressure becomes familiar. Risk becomes tolerable. Action becomes easier. Avoid failure, and pressure feels unbearable. Expose yourself to failure, and pressure becomes normal. That's why confident people stay calm where others panic. They've been here before. They've failed before. They know they'll survive. That's real confidence. You are not behind. You are in training. Stop comparing your Chapter 1 to someone else's Chapter 20. They paid for their confidence in failure currency. So will you. There is no shortcut, no bypass, no exemption. But there is progress, if you keep moving. You don't need their permission to try again. You don't need approval to restart. You don't need validation to continue. You only need commitment. Failure is not your enemy. It's your instructor. It's data, not destiny. Feedback, not identity. Stop running from it. Stop personalizing it. Start extracting lessons and moving forward. Because the next chapter will challenge you even more. You'll learn why your words, especially the ones you say to yourself, either reinforce doubt or lock in dominance. And once you control that, confidence stops being fragile. It becomes permanent. Stay with me.
Chapter 9. Speak like you've already won. Your life follows your language. Not your intentions, not your goals,
not your motivation, your words. What you say, out loud and in your head, sets the ceiling for who you become. And most people sabotage themselves before they ever take action with their mouth. That's the truth. Your internal dialogue is your operating system. Every action begins as a sentence. I can't. I'm not ready. I'll try. Maybe someday. Those aren't harmless phrases. They're commands. Your brain listens. Your body obeys. If you speak doubt, your system prepares for retreat. If you speak certainty, your system prepares for execution. That's the key. Dangerously confident people don't wait to feel confident before they speak decisively. They speak decisively, and their confidence catches up. You have a choice. Speak like someone hoping to survive, or speak like someone planning to win. Weak language creates weak action. Let's expose the most dangerous words in your vocabulary. Try, hopefully, maybe, I think, I'll see. Those words sound polite, they sound reasonable, they sound safe, and they destroy momentum. I'll try gives you an exit before you even begin. Hopefully shifts responsibility away from you. Maybe delays commitment. I think softens authority. Confident people eliminate verbal escape routes. They don't say, I'll try to go to the gym. They say, I'm going. They don't say, hopefully this works. They say, I'll make it work. Language shapes behavior. That's the key. Speaking is a form of training. Every time you speak with certainty, you train your nervous system. You tell it, we're moving, we're committed, there's no negotiation. At first, it feels fake, uncomfortable, forced. Good. That discomfort is the sound of rewiring. Confidence is installed the same way habits are, through repetition. Speak with certainty long enough, and hesitation weakens, not because you lied, but because you aligned your words with action. Stop announcing doubt out loud. Here's a hard rule. Never speak doubt about yourself to people who don't have your best interest and high standards. Why? Because spoken doubt multiplies. Once it leaves your mouth, it becomes social reality. Others reinforce it. You internalize it. It becomes identity. Confident people handle doubt privately and briefly. They don't rehearse insecurity in public. They don't narrate their fears. They don't crowdsource belief. They move. You don't need their permission to believe in yourself. You need discipline. That's the key. I am statements create identity. Your brain treats I am statements as facts. I am bad at this. I am not disciplined. I am unlucky. Those aren't descriptions, they're declarations, and once declared, your mind works hard to prove them true. Dangerously confident people are intentional with identity language. I am disciplined. I am consistent. I am someone who finishes. Even when it's not fully true yet, especially then. Identity precedes behavior. Speak it, then prove it. Confidence is built in private speech first. Before the world hears you, you hear you. Your self-talk during effort matters more than anything else. When it gets hard, what do you say? This is too much. Or, this is where I get stronger. I can't keep going. Or, keep moving. Those moments decide who you become. Confidence is trained in the dark when no one is watching and only your voice remains. That's the battlefield. Win there and the outside world follows. Command yourself. Don't negotiate. Insecure people negotiate with themselves. Should I? Do I really have to? Maybe tomorrow. Confident people issue commands. Get up. Do it. Finish. Short sentences, clear direction, no emotion, no drama. You don't need motivation, you need authority over yourself. That's the key. Speak in commitments, not conditions. Conditions weaken confidence. I'll do it if I feel like it. I'll start when things calm down. I'll commit once I'm ready. Those conditions never clear. Confident people remove conditions. I do it tired. I do it scared. I do it anyway. That language hardens resolve, and resolve builds confidence faster than success ever will. Words shape how others respond to you. This matters. People treat you based on how you speak. Hesitant language invites doubt. Clear language invites respect. You don't need to be loud, you need to be certain. Say less, mean more. Confident speech isn't aggressive, it's grounded. No over-explaining, no justifying, no rambling. Direct, calm, final. That's power. Ban weak language. Start today. For the next 24 hours, remove these phrases. I'll try, maybe, hopefully, I think, sorry when it's not necessary. Replace them. I will, I'm doing it, it's handled, understood. Watch what happens. Your posture shifts, your energy changes, your decisions sharpen. Not magic, alignment. That's the key. Your voice is a tool. Use it deliberately. Every word is a vote for the person you're becoming. Vote for certainty. Vote for discipline. Vote for execution. Speak like someone who finishes. Speak like someone who doesn't retreat. Speak like someone who's already committed. Because the more consistently you speak like a winner, the harder it becomes to live like anything else. Your words are not neutral. They are instructions. Speak doubt and you train hesitation. Speak certainty and you train dominance. Eliminate weak language. Command yourself. Align your words with action. Because in the next chapter, we'll expose another illusion. Why real confidence is quiet, controlled, and undeniable, while insecurity is loud, defensive, and desperate for attention. And once you understand that, you'll stop performing confidence and start embodying it. Stay with me.
Chapter 10. Confidence is quiet. Insecurity is loud. Here's a truth most people misunderstand. Real confidence doesn't announce itself. It doesn't argue. It doesn't perform. It moves. Quietly, consistently, decisively. Insecurity, on the other hand, is loud. It explains. It boasts. It defends. It demands attention. If you need to tell people how confident you are, you're not. If you need to prove it, you doubt it. If you need applause, you're still negotiating with yourself. That's the key. Loud behavior is a cover for uncertainty. Watch closely. The loudest person in the room is rarely the most capable. They're the most uncertain. They talk big, promise big, post big, but when it's time to execute, silence. Because volume doesn't equal confidence, consistency does. Confident people don't need to dominate conversations, they dominate outcomes. You have a choice. Perform confidence for others or build confidence through action. Only one lasts. Explaining is a form of doubt. Let this sink in. The more you explain your decisions, the less confident you feel. Why? Because explanation invites judgment. Judgment invites second-guessing. Second-guessing erodes certainty. Confident people don't over-explain. They decide. They act. They move on. No essays, no justifications, no defensive speeches, just direction. You don't need their permission to choose your path. You need conviction. That's the key.
Real power doesn't seek validation. Insecure people want to be seen. Confident people want results. Insecure people chase recognition. Confident people chase mastery. Insecure people post every step. Confident people post outcomes, if they post at all. Why? Because validation is a drug. The more you seek it, the weaker your internal confidence becomes. You outsource belief. You wait for likes. You need comments to feel progress. That's not confidence. That's dependency. Dangerously confident people are internally validated. They don't need applause to continue. They don't need approval to persist. They're locked in. Silence builds pressure, and pressure builds power. Here's something few people understand. Silence creates tension. When you stop announcing plans, people don't know what you're doing. They watch, they wait, they speculate. That silence builds presence, and presence builds authority. You don't need to update everyone. You don't need to narrate your process. You don't need to explain delays. Work quietly. Let results speak. That's the key. Confidence shows up in how you move. Watch body language. Insecure people rush. They fidget. They overreact. Confident people move slower. They pause. They respond, not react. Why? Because urgency without purpose is anxiety. Calm under pressure is confidence. Slow down your movements. Slow down your speech. Be deliberate. Not passive, precise. That's power. Stop defending your choices. Defensiveness is insecurity in disguise. When someone questions your decision, you don't need to argue. You don't need to convince. You don't need to win the debate. You just need to continue executing. Results end arguments faster than words ever will. You have a choice. Defend your path or walk it. That's the key. Quiet confidence is built in private. No one sees the reps. No one hears the self-command. No one witnesses the discipline. That's where confidence is forged. In the mornings you get up when no one's watching. In the nights you finish when quitting would be easy. In the moments you choose action over comfort. That's where confidence becomes unshakable. Not on stages, not in comments, in solitude. The more you talk, the less you do. Here's a dangerous pattern. Talking feels like progress. Posting feels like progress. Planning feels like progress, but none of it moves the needle. Execution does. Confident people talk less because they're busy doing more. They save their energy. They protect focus. They reduce noise. That's discipline. That's the key. Presence is stronger than personality. You don't need to be loud to be respected. You don't need to be charismatic to be effective. You need presence. Presence comes from certainty. Certainty comes from repetition. Repetition comes from discipline. When you know you've done the work, you don't need to perform. You stand. You speak when necessary. You act. That's confidence. Practice quiet confidence. Here's your challenge. For the next week, stop announcing plans. Stop explaining choices. Stop defending timelines. Do the work. Let silence protect your focus. Let results introduce you. It will feel uncomfortable at first. Good. That discomfort is withdrawal from validation. On the other side is real confidence. You don't need to look confident. You need to be effective. Looking confident is easy. Being effective is hard. One is theater. The other is transformation. Choose effectiveness. Choose consistency. Choose quiet execution. That's how confidence becomes undeniable. Real confidence doesn't shout. It doesn't explain. It doesn't perform.
It moves quietly and leaves evidence. Stop chasing validation. Stop defending your choices. Start executing in silence. Because in the next chapter, we'll address the trap that destroys quiet confidence faster than anything else: scattered focus. You'll learn why mastering one thing builds unbreakable confidence, while chasing everything leaves you average everywhere. Stay locked in.
Chapter 11. Master one thing before chasing everything. Let's confront a hard truth. You're not overwhelmed because you're incapable. You're overwhelmed because you're scattered. Your confidence isn't weak. It's diluted. Pulled in too many directions, split across too many goals, chasing too many identities at once. That's the problem. Confidence needs concentration, and most people refuse to give it that. That's the key. Scattered focus creates scattered confidence. Look at your life honestly. Too many goals, too many starts, too many unfinished projects. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, and no real mastery anywhere. You tell yourself you're versatile, multi-talented, exploring options. But here's the truth. You're avoiding commitment. Because commitment exposes weakness, and weakness feels uncomfortable. So you keep switching lanes before competence has time to form, and confidence never arrives. You have a choice: be interesting at many things or be dangerous at one. That's the fork in the road. Confidence is built through depth, not variety. Confidence doesn't come from knowing about many things. It comes from knowing one thing deeply, from repetition, from refinement, from seeing progress compound. When you commit to one skill, something powerful happens. You stop guessing, you stop doubting, you stop looking outside yourself for answers, because competence silences insecurity. That's the key. The jack of all trades trap. Here's the lie people repeat. Being well-rounded makes you confident. No, being effective makes you confident. The jack of all trades knows a little, but trusts themselves in nothing. Every challenge feels threatening. Every comparison feels painful. Every expert intimidates them. Why? Because there's no foundation. Dangerously confident people have a core, one area where they know, I've done the work, I've earned this, I belong here. That certainty spills into everything else. One thing done excellently changes your identity. When you master one thing, your identity shifts. You stop saying, I'm trying. You start saying, this is what I do. You walk differently. You speak differently. You decide faster. Not because you're arrogant, but because evidence replaces doubt. That's how confidence becomes unshakable. You don't need more options. You need commitment. Options feel safe. Options let you escape. Options let you quit without guilt. But options kill confidence, because confidence requires stakes. When you commit to one thing, failure matters, effort matters, consistency matters, and that pressure forces growth. You don't need their permission to commit. You need courage. That's the key. Mastery requires temporary sacrifice. Let's be clear. Mastery demands saying no. No to distractions, no to side projects, no to chasing what looks exciting today. For a season, you narrow your world. And most people won't understand. They'll call you obsessed, too focused, too serious. Good. They're watching discipline they don't have. Confidence grows when you choose depth over novelty. Pick the one skill that moves your life forward. Ask yourself, what is the one skill that would change my life if I mastered it? Not 10, not 5, 1. the skill that compounds, the skill that creates leverage, the skill that aligns with your long-term path. Choose it. And once you choose, stop shopping for alternatives. That's where most people fail. They commit mentally, but keep browsing emotionally. Half in, half out. And confidence requires full commitment. Repeat until doubt has nowhere to stand. Repetition builds certainty. The more reps you log, the less you question yourself. You don't need motivation, you need volume. Daily practice, focused effort, long enough for progress to show. That's when confidence locks in, because doubt cannot survive evidence. That's the key. Stop comparing, start compounding. Comparison is poison when you haven't committed. You look at experts and feel behind. You look at beginners and feel unimpressive. But when you commit to mastery, comparison fades, because your metric changes. You stop asking, "Am I better than them?" You ask, "Am I better than yesterday?" That's confidence-friendly thinking. That's how momentum builds. Confidence comes from knowing you can figure it out. Here's the real payoff of mastery. It's not perfection, it's trust. Trust that no matter the problem, you can learn, adapt, improve. That belief transfers everywhere. You walk into new challenges calmer. You approach risk with clarity. You stop panicking under pressure, because you've mastered the process of improvement itself. That's real confidence. You don't need to master everything, just one thing first. This is important. Mastery doesn't mean you'll never try anything else. It means you anchor your identity first. Once you've built confidence through one domain, expanding becomes easier, because now you know, I can commit, I can endure, I can finish. That knowledge changes everything. The discipline of finishing builds confidence faster than talent. Talent without completion breeds doubt. Every unfinished project whispers, "You don't follow through." And those whispers stack. But when you finish something deeply, properly, completely, confidence surges. Not because it was perfect, but because it was finished. Finish one thing well. That's the key. Your 90-day commitment. Here's your directive. Choose one skill. Commit 90 days. No switching, no distractions. Track effort, not mood. Progress, not praise. Let boredom train you. Let repetition shape you. By the end, you won't just be better, you'll be more confident, because you proved something to yourself. Scattered focus creates scattered confidence. Mastery creates certainty. Stop chasing everything. Commit to one thing. Go deep. Build evidence. Build trust. Build identity. Because in the next chapter, we'll shift from internal mastery to external presence. How your body language, posture, and physical control either reinforce confidence or quietly betray insecurity before you ever speak. And once you control that, confidence becomes visible before you say a word. Stay locked in.
Before you say a word, you've already spoken. Your body speaks first. Your posture announces you. Your movement reveals your certainty or your doubt. And most people lose confidence before the conversation even begins. Not because of what they say, but because of how they show up. That's the key. Your body trains your mind, not the other way around. Most people believe confidence starts in the mind. Wrong. Confidence starts in the body. Your brain takes cues from your posture, your movement, your breathing. Slouch, and your brain interprets weakness. Rush, and your brain interprets panic. Avoid eye contact, and your brain interprets threat.
and then your thoughts follow. You don't think your way into confident body language. You move your way into confident thinking. That's the shift. You have a choice. Wait to feel confident or move like someone who already is. That's the key. Posture is a decision. Stand up straight, not aggressively, not stiff, aligned. Head up, chest open, shoulders relaxed, not rounded. This isn't about looking tough. It's about signaling safety and control to yourself. When you collapse inward, your nervous system goes defensive. When you open up, it stabilizes. Confidence is easier to access when your body feels grounded. That's physiology, not motivation. You don't need their permission to take up space. Slow down. Speed is anxiety. Watch insecure people. They rush, they fidget, they interrupt, they move fast without purpose. Speed feels productive, but it's usually fear. Confident people move slower, not lazy, deliberate. They pause before speaking. They walk without urgency. They don't react instantly. Why? Because control over pace equals control over presence. Slow movement communicates certainty. That's the key. Eye contact is not intimidation, it's stability. Avoiding eye contact is one of the fastest ways to signal insecurity. It tells the brain, I'm unsure, I'm uncomfortable, I'm seeking escape. Confident eye contact isn't staring, it's calm, steady, relaxed. You're not trying to dominate, you're showing you're not afraid of connection. Hold eye contact when you speak. Hold it when you listen. Let silence exist. Silence plus eye contact equals power. Your hands reveal your inner state. Hidden hands signal fear. Hands in pockets, hands clenched, hands fidgeting. Your body is trying to self-soothe. Confident people keep their hands visible and controlled. They gesture with purpose. They don't overuse movement. They don't hide. This isn't performance, it's regulation. When your hands are calm, your mind follows. That's the key. Breathing controls confidence in real time. Shallow breathing equals panic. Deep, slow breathing equals control. When pressure rises, insecure people forget to breathe. Confident people slow their breath intentionally. Inhale through the nose, exhale slowly. Longer exhales calm the nervous system. You don't need motivation to breathe properly. You need awareness. That single adjustment can change how you show up instantly. Confident people don't shrink, they occupy. Shrinking behavior kills confidence. Crossed arms, collapsed posture, leaning away. It tells your system you're under threat. Confident presence is neutral expansion. Feet planted, weight balanced, body facing forward. You're not hiding, you're not posturing, you're present. That's the key. Walk like you're going somewhere important. Your walk matters. Dragging feet signals fatigue and resignation. Erratic movement signals anxiety. Confident walking is steady. Purposeful strides, relaxed shoulders, eyes forward. You don't rush, you don't drift. You move like your time matters, because it does. Stop mirroring insecurity. Here's a trap. When others are nervous, you subconsciously mirror them. You lower your posture, you speed up, you soften your voice. That's how insecurity spreads. Confident people don't absorb nervous energy. They stabilize the room. They stay grounded, they slow the pace, they hold posture, and the room adjusts to them. That's leadership. Body language is a daily practice, not a performance. This isn't about turning it on occasionally. Confidence built through body language is earned through consistency. How you sit alone, how you stand when no one's watching, how you move when you're tired. Those moments train your baseline, and your baseline determines how you show up under pressure. That's the key. Fake it until it's real, and then it's real. People mock this phrase because they misunderstand it. You're not lying to others, you're training yourself. When you move confidently despite doubt, your nervous system learns this is survivable, this is normal, this is safe. Eventually, the gap between movement and feeling disappears. Confidence stops being something you perform. It becomes something you inhabit. 1 week body language reset. Here's your directive. For the next 7 days, stand taller, move slower, breathe deeper, make eye contact, keep your hands visible, walk with purpose. No exceptions. You don't need to feel confident, you need to move confidently. Feelings will follow. That's the key. Confidence is not loud, it's grounded. This chapter is not about dominance, it's about stability. People trust stable presence. They respect grounded energy. They follow calm certainty. And it all starts in the body. Before mindset, before words, before results. Your body is always communicating. Train it to communicate certainty. Stand tall, move deliberately, breathe deeply, occupy space. Because in the next chapter, we'll eliminate one of the final barriers to dangerous confidence, waiting for permission. You'll learn why no one is coming to approve your greatness, and why the moment you stop waiting, everything accelerates. Stay with me.
Chapter 13. Stop waiting for permission to be great. Let's end one of the most destructive habits you have. Waiting. Waiting to be ready. Waiting to be chosen. Waiting to be approved. Waiting to be validated. No one is coming. That's the truth. And the longer you wait for permission, the longer you delay the life you're capable of living. That's the key. Permission is a myth adults never outgrow. As a child, permission made sense. You asked to speak. You asked to try. You asked to act. But somewhere along the way, that habit never died. You're still asking, just silently. Am I good enough yet? Do I have enough experience? What will people think? Who am I to do this? That internal permission seeking keeps you small, because confidence cannot grow where authority is outsourced. You have a choice. Wait to be selected, or select yourself. That's the dividing line. No one feels ready. They move anyway. Here's what confident people know. Readiness is not a feeling, it's a decision. If you wait to feel ready, you will wait forever. Everyone who ever did something meaningful started before they felt qualified, before clarity, before certainty, before comfort. They moved first, confidence followed. That's the pattern. You don't need their permission to begin. You need courage to act. Asking for permission is fear in disguise. Let's call it what it is. Permission seeking is fear trying to sound responsible. It pretends to be humility. It pretends to be patience. It pretends to be planning. But underneath, fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of standing alone. Confident people don't eliminate fear. They stop obeying it. That's the key. Authority comes from action, not titles. People think authority is granted. It's not. It's taken through consistency. You don't become an expert by being crowned one. You become one by showing up repeatedly and delivering. You don't earn respect by announcing yourself. You earn it by producing results. Waiting for credentials before acting is backwards. Action creates credibility, not the other way around. You have a choice: collect qualifications endlessly or build proof through execution. That's the key. Stop asking, "Am I allowed?" and start asking, "What's the next move?" Permission-based thinking sounds like this. Is this okay? Should I really do this? What if they say no? Action-based thinking sounds different. What's the next step? How do I execute this? What can I control right now? One mindset delays, the other accelerates. Confidence lives in momentum, and momentum only comes from movement. Most people will never give you permission, even if you deserve it. This part matters. Even when you're capable, many people still won't approve, not because you're wrong, but because your action disrupts their comfort. Your ambition highlights their hesitation. Your discipline exposes their excuses. So they question you, they doubt you, they advise caution. Not intentionally malicious, just human. Waiting for universal approval is a guarantee of stagnation. You don't need consensus, you need conviction. Self-authorization is a skill. Dangerously confident people authorize themselves. They don't ask if it's okay to try. They don't wait for applause to continue. They don't pause because someone doubts them. They decide, "I'm doing this. I'll figure it out. I'll adapt as I go." That's not arrogance, that's responsibility. They take ownership of outcomes, good or bad. That's the key. You're not late, you're hesitating. Many people tell themselves they missed their moment. That's a lie. The opportunity didn't pass, you paused. Confidence doesn't come from perfect timing. It comes from decisive timing. Start now, adjust later. You don't need their permission to restart. You don't need approval to pivot. You need momentum. Stop waiting to be discovered. This is a dangerous fantasy, that someone will notice, that someone will choose you, that someone will unlock the door. That rarely happens. People who get opportunities usually created visibility first. They acted, they built, they shared results. Then attention followed. If you're invisible, it's because you're inactive. That's the key. Take the shot before you feel worthy. Worthiness is earned in action, not contemplation. You become worthy by attempting, by risking, by engaging fully. Waiting to feel worthy keeps you stuck in preparation mode, and preparation without execution is procrastination. You have a choice: prepare forever or begin imperfectly. That's the key. Your future self is begging you to move. Imagine the version of you 5 years from now. They don't regret trying. They regret waiting. They regret playing small. They regret deferring decisions. They regret listening to doubt. Confidence grows when you act in alignment with that future self, when you stop asking for permission and start behaving like the person you're becoming. Give yourself permission right now. Permission to start messy. Permission to be seen trying. Permission to fail publicly. Permission to grow in real time. No ceremony, no announcement, just action, because confidence respects speed. No one is coming to approve your greatness. Permission is not granted, it's taken through action. Stop waiting, stop asking, start moving. Authorize yourself. Decide, execute. Because in the next chapter, we'll connect everything you've learned so far into one unbreakable force: discipline.
you'll see why discipline is the bridge between doubt and dominance, and why without it, confidence collapses under pressure. Stay locked in.
Chapter 14. Discipline is the bridge between doubt and dominance. Let's strip this down to the truth. Confidence without discipline is delusion. Discipline without confidence is training. And training, done long enough, creates real confidence. That's the sequence. Not motivation, not inspiration, not hype. Discipline. That's the key. Discipline is doing it anyway. Discipline is not intensity, it's consistency. It's doing the work when you don't feel like it, when it's boring, when it's inconvenient, when no one is watching. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline stays. And confidence is the reward for staying. You have a choice. Wait until you feel ready, or act until you are ready. That's the line. Doubt thrives in chaos. Discipline creates order. Doubt grows where life is unstructured. Random sleep, random effort, random focus. Your mind fills the gaps with questions. Am I doing enough? Is this working? Should I quit? Discipline removes the questions. When you have a routine, you don't debate. When you have standards, you don't negotiate. When you have structure, you don't spiral. You execute. That's the key. Discipline is self-respect in action. Let's be honest. Every broken promise to yourself weakens confidence. Every kept promise strengthens it. Discipline is simply keeping your word to yourself. Show up when you said you would. Finish what you started. Repeat. Confidence grows from evidence, not affirmations, not wishes, evidence. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your systems. Goals are useless without systems. Big dreams without daily discipline are just fantasies. Confident people don't rely on willpower. They design systems that remove friction. Same time, same place, same action, every day. That's how doubt gets replaced with certainty. Discipline turns emotion into irrelevance. Here's a dangerous lie. You need to feel good to perform well. No, you need to perform regardless of how you feel. Discipline doesn't care about mood. It doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't negotiate with excuses. It commands action. When emotion loses authority, confidence rises. That's the key. Small discipline wins create big confidence shifts. Confidence doesn't explode overnight. It accumulates. One early wake-up, one finished workout, one completed task. Stack enough small wins and doubt has nowhere to stand. Most people look for dramatic change. Confident people look for repeatable actions. That's how momentum compounds. The discipline scorecard. Track execution, not feelings. Feelings lie. Execution doesn't. Create a simple scorecard. Did you show up? Did you complete the task? Did you honor the standard? Yes or no? No stories, no excuses. This builds objectivity, and objectivity builds confidence because you stop guessing where you stand. You know. Discipline makes you unbotherable. When you're disciplined, opinions lose power. Criticism doesn't shake you. Praise doesn't distract you. Noise fades. Why? Because your identity is anchored in action. You don't need validation. You have a process. That's the key. Confidence collapses without discipline. This is why many people feel confident one day and insecure the next. They rely on emotion. One good day equals belief. One bad day equals doubt. Discipline stabilizes confidence. It creates a floor you don't fall below. Even on bad days, you still execute, and execution keeps confidence alive.
No backup plan. Commitment builds pressure. Here's a hard truth. Backup plans weaken discipline. They leave an exit open. They make quitting easier. When commitment is total, discipline sharpens. You stop asking, should I continue? You ask, how do I improve? That pressure doesn't crush you, it focuses you. That's the key. Discipline is boring, and that's why it works. Discipline isn't glamorous, it's repetitive, predictable, unexciting, and that's exactly why it beats talent. Most people quit when excitement fades. Disciplined people continue when boredom hits, and boredom is where mastery is built. Confidence grows quietly there. You don't need more time, you need non-negotiables. Time isn't the problem, priority is. Confident people have non-negotiables, daily actions that happen regardless of circumstances. They don't ask if there's time, they make time. That decision builds authority over your life. Discipline turns one day into day one. Everyone has plans, few have habits. Discipline turns intention into identity. You stop being someone who wants confidence. You become someone who acts confidently because action is routine. That's transformation. Build discipline first. Confidence follows automatically. Stop chasing confidence directly. Chase discipline. Confidence will catch up. Because once you trust yourself to execute, doubt loses relevance. You don't wonder who you are. You've seen what you do. That's the key. Chapter takeaway. Discipline is the bridge between doubt and dominance. It removes negotiation. It silences excuses. It builds evidence. Keep your word. Execute daily. Track action, not feelings. Because in the final chapter, we will lock it in. You'll receive the final mandate, the commitment that separates people who listen from people who transform. Dangerous confidence isn't learned, it's chosen. Stay with me.
Chapter 15. Become dangerously confident. The final mandate. This is it. The moment where everything you've learned converges. All the chapters, all the lessons, all the tools, they lead to one simple truth. Dangerous confidence is not optional. It's not a skill you dabble in. It's a lifestyle. And dangerous confidence is earned, not wished for, not hoped for, not practiced casually. It's taken every day with total commitment. That's the key. What does dangerously confident mean? Let's get clear. It doesn't mean cocky. It doesn't mean arrogant. It doesn't mean loud. It means unstoppable, relentless, unshakable. It's the kind of confidence that doesn't check in with anyone. It doesn't wait for approval. It doesn't negotiate with fear. Dangerously confident people move while others freeze. They execute while others plan. They dominate because doubt has no place in their vocabulary. And that's exactly who you must become. No plan B, only execution. This is the ultimate test. Most people stay small because they keep a backup, a safety net, a reason to quit. You cannot be dangerously confident if you have an exit strategy. It's simple. No plan B, no retreat, no excuses, only execution. That's discipline in its purest form. That's focus in its most ruthless form. You have a choice. Keep a safety net and stay average, or burn the backup and force yourself to rise. That's the key. Fear is the fuel. Dangerous confidence doesn't eliminate fear, it uses it. Fear isn't the enemy, fear is the signal. It tells you exactly where growth is waiting. Most people retreat. Dangerously confident people advance. They do not wait for fear to disappear. They act in spite of it.
Every step forward, every bold decision trains the nervous system. Fear becomes familiar. Doubt becomes irrelevant. That's how confidence becomes dangerous. Commitment is total, no halfsies. Let's be clear. Half-hearted effort creates half-hearted confidence. You cannot dabble, you cannot negotiate, you cannot hope and hesitate. Every action must reflect your decision to dominate your life. You have a choice. Do it casually and results will be casual. Do it fully and the world adjusts to your presence. That's the key. The world doesn't wait, and neither should you. Most people spend decades waiting for the perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. There is only now. Dangerously confident people act immediately. They plan, they execute, they adjust as they go. Waiting is an illusion of control. Action is the real control. You don't need permission to begin. You don't need conditions to improve. You don't need approval to act. Now is the only moment that matters. Eliminate distractions, eliminate excuses. Dangerously confident people protect their energy. They remove distractions before they become excuses. They focus on inputs, not outputs. They understand that consistency wins over cleverness every time. Social media? Controlled. Toxic relationships? Eliminated. Endless planning without action? Cut. They are ruthless with their focus because they know anything that doesn't serve your growth is killing your potential. You have a choice. Scatter your energy and scatter your confidence. Focus ruthlessly and make yourself unstoppable. That's the key. Failure is not the end. It's your data. Even when you dominate, failure will appear. It's inevitable. But here's what separates dangerously confident people. They do not internalize failure as identity. They do not let setbacks define them. Failure is feedback. Failure is information. Failure is the raw material for mastery. Fail fast. Fail forward. Fail until you learn what works. Stop fearing it. Start analyzing it. Use it. That's how unstoppable momentum builds. The inner dialogue of the dangerously confident. Everything you've learned culminates in how you speak to yourself. No more maybe, no more I hope, no more I'll try. Replace it with I am, I will, I can. Your internal dialogue determines your external reality. Speak like someone who has already won. Move like someone who owns the room before entering it. Act like your success is inevitable. You don't need permission. You only need action. Habits stack to create unstoppable momentum. Dangerous confidence isn't magic. It's habitual. It's compound action. It's daily wins stacked on top of each other. Show up every day. Do what you said you'd do. Commit to growth even when it's uncomfortable. Consistency builds results. Results build evidence. Evidence builds unshakable confidence. Small habits executed relentlessly equals massive power. The final test, public commitment. Here's the last step. Make your goals public. Not for approval, not for praise, for accountability, for pressure, for the burn of no retreat. When everyone knows your target, quitting becomes harder. Failure becomes less attractive. Action becomes unavoidable. This is the edge where mediocrity dies and dangerous confidence thrives. You have a choice. Keep it private and excuses remain alive. Declare it and your environment fuels your dominance. That's the key. The safety of the uncomfortable. Comfort is death. Danger is life. Dangerously confident people embrace the grind. They choose challenges that intimidate. They select growth over ease. Every uncomfortable step reinforces the identity.
I am unstoppable. I move when others pause. I execute when others hesitate. This is your mindset. This is your standard. This is your life if you choose it. The mandate. Act now. Let me simplify this. Burn your plan B. Commit publicly to your biggest goal. Eliminate distractions and excuses. Train your mind and body to act decisively. Use fear and failure as fuel. Stack small wins daily. Speak to yourself like a winner, not a worrier. Execute relentlessly. No hesitation, no negotiation, no apologies. Do this, and you will be transformed. Your transformation. Dangerous confidence is not external. It's internal first, external second. You will feel it in your posture, in your voice, in your decisions, in the way the world responds to you. You will stop asking for approval. You will stop waiting for readiness. You will stop negotiating with doubt, because you will know who you are, and you will act accordingly. Chapter takeaway. This is the final mandate. No plan B, no retreat, no excuses, only execution. Dangerous confidence is not for the hesitant. It is for the committed, the relentless, the unapologetic. Now it's your turn. Choose it. Commit to it. Live it. The world isn't waiting. Neither should you.
You now have the blueprint. But blueprints don't build buildings. Action does. Dangerously confident people aren't special. They're not gifted. They're simply done with doubt. They've eliminated excuses, stopped negotiating with themselves, and decided that mediocrity isn't an option. So here's your call to action. Choose one chapter from this audiobook, just one, and implement it completely for the next 30 days. Not all of them. One. Master it, embody it, let it rewire how you think and move. Because confidence isn't built in grand gestures, it's built in small daily decisions to show up when you don't feel like it, to execute when you'd rather plan, to dominate when others retreat. You are capable of dangerous confidence. Now go prove it to yourself. Stop doubting, start dominating. The world is waiting.